Hello there. Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Knocks to Nuggets. A big shout out to every single person joining me live on this program. I do not take it for granted. And for everyone that will watch thereafter, I say a big thank you for giving me a share of your time. Like I will always say, like the video, share it, let people know that there is Knocks to Nuggets. And today we are continuing what we started last week on security. And last week was personal security. And today we are going on to home security. So if you did not watch last week's edition, I plead with you, please go to YouTube, Knocks to Nuggets. It's still there and watch it. Our guest is a security expert that has stood on several stages nationally and internationally talking about something that's of passion to him, and that is security. So this morning, receive with me again on the Knocks to Nuggets lectern stage, pulpit, what do you want to call it? Anything. It's just Knocks to Nuggets. Receive with me Dickson Osajie. So good to have you again.
Thank you very much. Nice being here. Good morning.
Good morning. So last week was explosive on security, and you said something that kept going through my head all through the week. If you think security is expensive, try danger. And I'm like, nobody wants to give that a try. And we talked so much on personal security last week. So this week, we're just going to move on straight so that we can maximize our time and talk about home security. Now, when I talk about home security, it's so many things coming through my mind. It's the personal staff that we have, that we hire by reason of need many times. And it's our guards, it's our security, it's everything. The home is huge. It's us, it's our children, it's our properties, it's everything around us. So let me leave you to talk about home security this morning.
Thank you very much. Good morning, listeners. Thank you very much, madam, for all you do. Knocks to Nuggets is a platform that has gone global, it has gone viral. I want to assure you that people all over the world are commenting on the program, and wish you the strength to continue, you understand? Because you are doing all this, you are taking this to the viewers all over the world for free, and your time as well, which is very expensive. You also put in your energy and time. God bless you for all you do. I am really grateful, and I'm here to always support you any day, anytime, anywhere. All right, last week we spoke about, we talked about personal security last week, and I made mention about a lot of things, how to hide from the enemy's firepower, and also we talked about the cost of insecurity, what security is all about. We also talked about the dangers of insecurity. You know, we talked about security, that security in totality is the freedom from danger and fear. A situation whereby you live in a peaceful state without being intimidated, coerced. Security is broad, like I rightly said, and today we'll be dealing with home security, strictly home security, because some questions came on board last week in respect of kidnapping. Kidnapping is a total topic on its own, and assassination as well. They are total subject on their own, which needs more time to talk about, because we're in a world whereby people don't care about human lives again. Human life no longer has value. Today we'll be talking about home security. I will talk about home security. What's home security? You know, most people think that anyway, the home is supposed to be your place of refuge. It's supposed to be the place where you fall back to rest, in a sense whereby you're back from work or you're back from traveling, you go back home. People just take home as a place of comfort. But may I tell you this morning that the home is not a place of refuge anymore. It depends on your ability and capacity in projecting reasonable security force at your home. I would like to start with a story. The first Nigerian female pilot was killed in her home, buried in her home in a septic tank by her housemate, by her domestic staff. Her name is Captain Hadiza. She is the first ever pilot Nigeria produced that flew the Nigerian Airways in the 80s. One afternoon, one evening, she came back from Germany. She flew back from Germany. And on getting home, she never knew that would be the last day in her existence in planet Earth. On getting back home, the security guard has connived with some assassins. And immediately she got back home, her kitchen was left open, or the security guard intentionally left the kitchen open. She trusted the home keys with her security. We'll be talking about home keys later on in this program.
Wow.
The security guard assisted her, took her bags, her luggage upstairs, and she came back to the kitchen where she just want to prepare some stuff and eat. She lives in Bodilon, Ikoyi. So that night, the security guard now opened the door to her apartment, and the assassins came in, met her in the kitchen, and strangled her to death with a rope. She could not, she tried all she could. She, gave her best, but it's regrettable that she died in her kitchen. And immediately they killed her. They went and buried her in the septic tank known as Sockaway. They buried her there for about 2-3 months. The security guys now became the landlord. And each time people comes to look for her, Madam Travel, she has not been back. The police were worried. They came around, but she flew back to Nigeria some days back. 2-3 months, some neighbors who are very observant, a mobile police that is across the environment, now discovered that there are some irregularities in that compound. And he told the police that something is going wrong. The police came, and they searched around, and they discovered that they broke the sockaway, the septic tank, buried her corpse in the septic tank, and cemented it. They have to break the sockaway again, and they, exhume her dead body, and regrettably, she was deposited in the morgue. What happened? Paul, the name of the guy that killed him, it was Paul. What happened to Paul? Paul was the servant of Captain Adiza. And I would like us to understand the dangers in hiring and firing and rehiring your domestic staff. The day you fire your staff, let that firing be final. When you fire and rehire, the staff will never trust you again, psychologically, emotionally, whatever the case may be. Each time you fire and you rehire based on mercy, I beg, plead, bargain, whatever the case may be, you are endangering your life and your future. Paul was a security guard with Captain Adiza. She fired Paul because of some gross misconduct. Then Paul got a job along the street and was doing 1 or 2 stuffs. And she hired another domestic staff. The staff she hired now told Madam that, Madam, I want to go on holiday. And that's why I will advise viewers out there, don't gamble with your security. I told you last time that if security is expensive, try danger. Some of us don't want to pay for security service. We just want to manage. We don't want to pay for 2. Captain Adiza was a very rich lady. She brings in dollars, pounds, everywhere littered with gold and jewelries. Paul was fired. And the new domestic staff, after about 9 months or so, now took permission from Madam. Said, Madam, I lost my mother. I want to go and bury her. Captain Adiza now look at her and say, who is going to hold this place for me? She now will pick her phone and say, hello, Paul, how you dey? Where you dey? I beg, can you just come and hold this place for me? Like for 2 weeks, my staff want to travel. She never knew she was inviting her death. Paul haven't gotten the opportunity. Now said, okay, madam, I am coming. And Paul came over and took over duties from the outgoing domestic staff. Remember, Paul was fired and rehired for a short period of time. Then Paul now spoke with some criminal guys and said, hey, madam usually leave gold jewelries in our rooms. And that's how in the course of this training, we talked about, do you allow your domestic staff to get access to your master bedroom? Do you allow them to get access to your bedrooms? Even if you allow them to get access, do you display some jewelries, gold, dollars, nairas? Do you display them on bed? This was the error Captain Adiza made. Each time she flew into Nigeria, she would just get home tired, and all the dollars she made while traveling and her traveling allowance, she just threw it on the bed. You know, then there is no more of an internet transfer. Also, people were paid in cash. She would just throw the dollars and pounds on her bed, and this begins to attract her domestic staffs. And when Paul took over duty, they now planned with those guys. And to cut the story short, Adiza came in and they strangled her. She tried all she could. She tried all she could. She was begging, why do you want to take my life? Why do you want to, Paul, what did I do to you? Paul, 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 she was crying. Paul watched how those visitors, criminals, he invited to kill Adiza. The first female pilot Nigeria has ever produced, Captain Hadiza, lost her life. She paid the supreme price based on the fact that she gambled with her home security. And the guys were later investigated and they were found guilty. That was how Hadiza died, simply because she fired and rehired. Each time you fire and rehire, you are rehiring your debts, you are rehiring danger, because they will no longer trust you. These guys will no longer trust you with their security. So that was how Captain Hadiza died. Now, from the story I gave above, what went wrong and what should have gone right? What went wrong, or what should have been done right? What should have Hadiza done better? What went wrong was that Hadiza, number one, Hadiza fired and rehired a domestic staff. Number two, she does not care about her home security, the keys and lock in her rooms. She neglected the security of her keys and lock. And as professionals, as individuals, each time you change your domestic staff, it's a time for you to change your lock. Don't stay in a particular lock every day and now. What if perhaps in line of the duty of your former domestic staff, he went or she went and caught a new key? Are you with me? So
yeah.
don't fire and rehire one. And if you must, if you have a domestic staff who is not available again or who has been fired, what is expected from you is to change all your locks and keys. That Captain Hadiza never did. Number three, do not display your jewelries, your medals, your gold, your diamond, your silver in the presence of these domestic staffs. It is an inducement that could trigger them to collaborate with the criminal elements. This Hadiza did not do. Number four, you must ensure to carry out domestic check. You must ensure to carry out a background check on your domestic staff. Don't just pick a domestic staff on the street or your neighbor, please, I'm looking for a housemaid. No, if you must get a housemaid or a domestic staff, they must be from a registered organization that can be held accountable in the case anything go wrong. If you pick any domestic staff that is not investigatable, you don't know where he or she came from, you are living in danger. There are many stories to tell, but time will not permit us to tell those stories on domestic staffs. Domestic staffs are supposed to be your helpers. They're supposed to be your friends. They're supposed to be your brothers and sisters. Some of them turn out to be evil. You saw the CEO of Fireman Generators was killed some few months ago by his domestic staff. Domestic staff's background must be investigated. And I will also advise, do not leave domestic staff too long in your premises or in your apartment. Maximum every 3 years, change your domestic staff, or every 2 years. When you make a domestic staff to become part and parcel of a family, that is a very good idea, in the sense that maybe you want to send them to school, you want to train them, you are bringing them in as your family. But any domestic staff, your instinct tells, or any domestic staff you do not trust, please relieve him or her of that duty immediately. And we also need to be very cautious on how we treat our domestic staff. Sometimes I feel pity for married women or some men who treat their domestic staff negatively. You beat them up, you maltreat them. Each time you beat your domestic staff, you are beating your children because your children will receive the payback.
Yes, sir.
They would deposit those beating in your children's body. So we must start looking at domestic staff as part of our family. Adiza paid the supreme price because she never carried out a background check. Background check is very, very important, especially your security. Some people use Megad, that is traditional security. Some people use registered security. Some people say, the money is expensive. They will go and hire one Megad. The Megad will be in charge of washing of the cars, opening of the gates, simply because of cheap labor. During the insurrection between the Christians and the Muslims, while I was in the north, a serious war broke out between the Christians and Muslims. Thousands of people died then. I was in the north. I witnessed that war. A Megad who was working for a Christian family, because of his belief, killed the 3 children and the wife of his master, because the Christians and the Muslims are at war. That is the danger of hiring a Megad. I am not coming here to talk about religious brutality or talk about any religion, but I am talking about in the case in which the Christians, I'm not saying you should hire, or your harem must be Christians or whatever. No. But if you're having a Megad, do you trust them? How do you investigate those Megad in the case of an incident? And the truth is that they are not investigatable. Some of them came in from Niger, some from Mali. 5 months ago, a Megad killed his master in Ikoyi and ran away. Till today, we've been trying to arrest that Megad. Some investigation guys went to Niger Republic. Some people say they're from Niger. Till today, nobody knows where the guy came from, simply because of cheap labor. Because they are easily provoked. For the fact that their services are cheap, when they are provoked, they can do anything. That is the negative part of hiring a Megad. But remember, in any negative side, there are positive sides. The positive side of hiring a Megad is that they are very loyal, and if they are loyal to a fault. But their loyalty does not get to the side of their religion. When it comes to their religion, they will defend their religion before they defend you. Megads are multitasking. They can wash your car, do a lot of stuff. They don't live an extravagant life. They don't believe in wealth. They don't believe in riches. So the possibility of Megad burgling your house or your home is very, very slim. The chances are very slim, if possible, not at all. But the problem of a Megad is that they don't understand what security is and what access control is all about. So if you must go for a Megad, ensure you know where he comes from, you know the family, you know his home. Even if you want to employ some private investigator, let that guy take the Megad and go back home and get them to you. Once your Megad gets upset, the danger associated to that is very, very expensive. On your domestic staff, background check is very important. Don't say, Mama Titi, please, can you get me somebody from Ijebu? I just need a housemaid. Mama Titi will go and bring anybody for you. And once this person comes, it becomes a disaster. Once you are hiring any domestic staff, make sure you know the parents and assure the parents of that person, of that child, that you are going to take care of the child, either a boy or a girl. You're going to take care of his or her or their daughters. Don't hire a domestic staff and enslave them. Whenever you enslave your staff, you are enslaving yourself in the future. However, it doesn't matter how good you are, how nice you are. A domestic staff who wants to go contrary to the constitution, who wants to go contrary to mankind, will still carry out such negative behavior. So we must start looking at domestic check, carry out background check on your domestic staff, carry out background check on your on your security guards. And I will also advise, if you want to have a security guard, make sure you carry out enlist a security company, a licensed security company that will be held responsible in the case of any eventualities. I have 3 stories to tell, and each of these stories comes with security implication. The first story I've just told us is on Captain Adiza, who was killed by her domestic staff, buried in a septic tank, and Nigeria lost a very beautiful pilot, the first female pilot, Captain Adiza. I will stop here for a question before I take the second story and the analysis.
Wow, 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 wow. I just kept doing wow, and I was putting my hand in my head and wondering what next to do. Because that story about Captain Adiza is so gory. But unfortunately, I'm sure she probably thought she was doing the guy a favor. Oh, I fired him. He's hanging around. He has nothing to do. Now I have a space. Let me help him. Our help turned to be her death.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
to be
so sad.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things you said that I pray everybody on this call will take note of is the way we treat our domestic staff.
Very important.
If you don't treat them right, I always wonder, if you don't treat your cook right, he cooks for you or she cooks for you. Don't you think she can poison you? If you don't treat your nanny, your children's nannies right, and you want to leave your children with this person and go to work and go to a party and do some other things, and you have enslaved him or her, you have dealt so badly with this nanny, and then you leave her with the children, and then you go. And I'm wondering, how do you ever imagine that your children are safe? You know, it's painful, but a lot of people do it. A lot of people will still do it. And I'm just trusting God that will send the word out. Yes, don't treat your staff as a slave. They are not. They are also born of a woman just like you. It's time and chance. You have been positioned to help. Be the best. You have been positioned and they are not opportuned. Be their ladder to a better future. I mean, there's one of my friends that each time I see her help, I'm just like, wow, this girl came to a good place. Today, she's a graduate. She's working. Wow. Nobody will even tell you she was ever a help. But how she came to that family was simply by helping.
Yeah.
Another one that's very, very close to me, the girl is now in tertiary. So as the children go to school, she went to school. Then she did her WAEC and then she passed. She's going to a very good school today.
Wow.
I mean, let's pay forward for our children. One thing my mother will always say to me is, you never know tomorrow. You just never know tomorrow. You never know where your children will need help. And as I tell this story, as I said this, a story comes to mind, and a very true story. Now, this doesn't have to do with help, but it talks about something you can learn from it. A man was working in, so let me not say the place so that some people that know him might just get to know who. And a child needed assistance. They had closed. The man was by his car about to drive off when the mother ran to him and said, please, I just need you to sign on this form. My child is qualifying for a scholarship but needs your signature. And the security man had told them, madam, we have closed. Nobody to help you. So, but that's the man, if you can approach him. So she went to the man. The man stood by his car, put the form on his car, and signed off. And that was the end. As far as the man was concerned, he just did what he could do and left. Years, and years passed. The man retired from that very big office he was in, a civil servant. And he was trying to build his house. And cost of cement was rising. So he was looking for a cheaper way of buying cement. Remember, he's retired. So he went to this cement factory. Again, I won't call their name because they're not paying me for adverts. And When he got there, he tried to find out how they would how he could get cement at a cheaper price. And somebody said to him, well, you can approach the commercial director if he can give you an allocation, or go to around his office. You can buy somebody's allocation and to still be cheaper than what you get in the market. So he went to the commercial director's office and he saw quite a crowd. So he sat down and was hoping that maybe in hearing conversations, he will know what next to do. This is an old man, he was over 60. So as he sat there, this young man came out of his office, true life story, came out of his office to see his guest off and saw the man, looked at him, went back in and asked the secretary, who is that man and who does he want to see? So, sir, he just came and sat down. I expect he wants to see you. The guy was, okay. Before the next person comes in, let him come in. So they tapped the man and said, Oga says you should come. So the man was wondering, I met all these people here. Oga is saying you should come. Have I done something wrong? Did he see me through camera? What would I have happened? So he went in, a bit uncomfortable. And the young boy said, do you know me, sir? I looked at him and wondered, have I ever seen you in my life? He said, sir, you might not know me, but several years ago, my mother brought me to your office. Everybody had closed and begged you to sign the form because it was closing that day. And you stood by your car, put the form on your car and signed. The man could not even remember anything that ever happened. So, sir, that one kind act gave me the scholarship. Today,
Wow.
I'm the commercial director of this company. Sir, what do you want?
That's
So
all.
man said, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't even know all of this, so thank you. But I just wanted to buy cement for that. I said, Baba, you won't buy cement. We'll make you a cement distributor.
Wow. That's a good
True
one.
like that.
I agree. I agree with you. You're correct.
The man not just finished that house, built houses from becoming a cement distributor. And this was at the time when cement was getting very scarce. And the guy said to him, we'll ensure you never lack. I said, Baba, where do you stay? We'll make that place a point. I know how cement was those days. Don't even have to get the cement to your place. Get the commercial, get the paper out, and you sell it almost immediately. That was how
That's
the
why.
man.
That's why sometimes we need to show kindness. Show kindness to people. This story you are talking about happened to me as well. When I joined the army in the 90s, getting to Cross River State, as a new soldier, there was no apartment. A guy was looking at me, say, you look familiar. I said, me, no. Have you stayed in Lagos? I said, no. Have you stayed in Imo State? I said, no. I said, I only stayed in the north. To cut the story short, he said, are you the brothers to Mama Yambu? I say, Mama Yambu? He said, yes, in the military institution. I said, yes. He said, Mrs. Osajie. I said, yes. He said, wow, your mother is a great woman. If not for your mother, I will not be a soldier. I almost got sacked from the army. Your mother told your father and they assisted me. Now I have been transferred to Lagos. Come and take my apartment. I was the first soldier that got an apartment because of my mother's kindness. Immediately I got there, I saw the mattress, 12 inches. I somersaulted on top of the mattress and I was bouncing because of what my mother has done for me. We must understand that as parents, we must look at domestic staffs, we must treat them with kindness, the case may be. The chances of them getting back to you, they all have conscience. They will all think, just like the story you just emphasized, we must teach, like my father in the Lord, Bishop Michael Kunko, will always say that you must treat everyone you come across with courtesy. That is a very good statement. Each person you treat across, you are treating your future. You are treating the future of your children. You are treating the future of your generation. So let's not just be Lord and gods in our environment. This will take me to our second story in the presentation. Also, thank you very much. That story is a well-touching story. I'm also learning from that as well. I will also be very nice and be kind.
Like somebody said, our kindness is a legacy, and that's very true. Legacy is not just money. Our kindness is a legacy.
It's our currency as well. Our kindness is our currency. Kindness is your currency. It's currency. Yeah. Some years ago, talking about home security, a popular Nigerian was killed. Chief Sir Alfred Ruwani was killed in his house. Told you about the first story about Captain Adiza, who was killed. Now, Chief Alfred Rwani was the sponsor of Nadeco then, during the era of the military government. They killed him in his home. One afternoon, they've tried all they could to assassinate him. The assassins were fortunate. They could not eliminate Sir Alfred Rwani. And they now decided to kill him in his own residence. And they succeeded. What happened? Alfred Rwani was at home with his wife, an old man. And that's why we must all understand that it doesn't matter how old you are. Once the assailant come for you, they will come for you. So don't say, Mama is very old, nothing will do Mama. Baba is very old, nothing will do Baba. Dora Akuili's husband was just killed in his 70s. Bola Ige was killed in his 80s. Alfred Rwani was killed in his 80s. When this assassin got to his house, what they did is that they branded a vehicle to the name of his company. This is where we are going to talk about area of access control. Alfred Rwani was the owner of a flour mill, something, life flour mill or stuff like that. They now went and bought a car and they painted the car to the color of the company's car. And that is why you don't identify people coming to your house by the body of the car or by the body of the vehicles. As security guards, as main guards, they must check the content of the vehicle before allowing them in. Assassin boarded the vehicle that, looked like the vehicle of Alfred Rwani's car, or Alfred Rwani's company's car. On getting to the residence, security guards saw the vehicle. Open, a company motor. Company motor with assassins. That was how they opened the doors and the assassins got in and binded the security guards. And they went straight to Alfred Rwani residence in Oduduwa Crescent, GRA Ikeja. This is a true life story. All the stories I'm giving are true life stories. On getting to his residence at Oduduwa Crescent, GRA Ikeja, the wife was in the sitting room. The man was upstairs. And that's why you must pay attention to details. Don't just talk at any given sound. Don't just respond at any knock. You heard a knock. Yes, who is that? No, don't ever answer a knock by your voice.
Wow.
Answer by your peephole. Look at the peephole. Who is the person? When you say yes, who is that? You have given out yourself. If perhaps these guys are assassins. They met Alfred Rwani's wife in the sitting room, and with the gun, the woman shouted, "What do you people want? What's it?" They said, "Where's your husband?" She said, "My husband is not around. My husband is not around." But the husband never paid attention to details, did not pay attention to what is happening in the surroundings. Always pay attention to sounds and voices in your surroundings before you respond. If he had paid attention to the sounds in her room, in his room, I mean to say, he would have known that those guys were assassins. Immediately he shouted, "Honey, who is that?" They heard the voice and they pushed the woman away. So your husband is around, you're lying. That was how they went upstairs and they assassinated Alfred Rwani in his residence. A bitter story. Now, what went wrong? Because each of these stories, we have to look at what went wrong.
What went wrong?
What went wrong? Number one, from the area of access control. The security guards failed in the area of identification. Because when it comes to access control, the security guards must be trained on identification, authorization, documentation, and excursion. Identification in the sense that who are the people looking for Oga, even if they came with a vehicle, a company branded vehicle. Who are they? Identify who they are. Then authorization, take authority from the landlord, from your master. You must train your security guard, other may guard all these things I've just said. They must take permission from their Oga. Yes, you are seeing a regular face. For example, I usually come and visit your family every day with my family. The security guard knows me very well. For the fact that they knows me very well does not mean they will grant me access any day I come. What if both of us, our business has gone sour, and my intention was to harm your enemy? The security guard will give me room and I will succeed. So familiarity complex is a no-no in a security duty. Yes, it's your friend, but tell them that I know this person is my sister, this person is my friend, but for the purpose and sanctity of identification and authorization, make sure you get to me before they come in, even if they come in every day or 10 times a day, except the person lives with me. The security guards in the case of Alfred Rouhani failed in the area of identification. They only saw the company vehicle and they say, oh, that's fine, and they open the gate. If they had placed a call to Alfred Rouhani residents, the man would have said, I'm not expecting a visitor. Who are they? Check who are they. Check who they are. They never did that. And they never document it. Any person that comes to your home must be documented. Have a register so that in the case of anything, the police can see that, oh, it was Mr. Dickson that came last to so person house. It's Mr. Bayomi that came last. Documentation is very essential because it can be used in a law court. CCTV cameras at home is very important. If Alfred Rouhani had installed CCTV camera in his residence and monitored it very well, immediately those guys broke in, he would have cited them. Whenever you are at home, make sure your house are locked. These guys carried out surveillance and they knew very well that Alfred Rouhani does not lock his apartment. Once you enter from the entrance gate, you can just gain access to the apartment. No. Ensure your, what's it called? Apartment. Ensure that your apartment is always locked, even if you are inside. If Alfred Rouhani had locked it, those guys would have wanted to break the door, or they could perhaps might not gain entrance into the premises. What went wrong is still what I'm talking about. CCTV camera is not meant for fashion or whatever the case may be. Two things CCTV camera is meant for. It's meant for crime in progress and also after the occasion of crime. Crime in progress in the sense that immediately those guys broke into Alfred Rouhani house, this CCTV camera would have caught them in action, or after the occasion of the incident, would have also caught them during action and possibly displayed their faces. Whenever you are at home, pay attention to who is talking. When you head, like for me, when you knock my door, I don't answer. I don't say yes, who is that? I will never answer you. I will just walk to the door and open the peephole. If it's a face I recognize, I open. If it's not a face, then the person should call my phone number. In the area of mobile, don't just answer a call. In the area of home security as well, be very careful when your neighbor comes to knock your door at night. Hey, Mrs. Yomi, I need a pepper, I need mangi. Don't respond to your neighbors at night. Whatever they need, let them come the next morning. Each time you respond to your neighbor at night, you might be inviting danger. What if some criminals that are robbing the street have adopted your neighbor and asked your neighbor to come and knock your door on the guise of looking for a mangi or a pepper? You are gone. No matter how close you are to your neighbor, let them know your time, the time you accept visitors and the time you don't accept visitors. You tell him, madam, once it's 7 o'clock, nothing. Somebody's knocking at your door at night. Hey, it's me or your neighbor. I need pepper. Ah, sorry. Tomorrow I beg. I don't have pepper. Then the next morning, go and give him the pepper. Say sorry. Part of my security. Let them know your security program that I don't open my doors to strangers at night. While you are at home and your generator went off, sleep without the generator. What if you open your door to go and check what causes the generation to go off? And at the end of the day, you meet criminal elements there, because what those criminals does is that they will just go and off your gen. And when you are feeling heat, you will come down to on it or put fuel. Please sleep like that, you will not die. Because if you try to go and attend to the criminal, maybe the generator or whatever, you are paying, you might pay with your life. On the case of Alfred Rouhani, that was what happened. Security breach. Security breach from the area of the security guards. They didn't identify the persons that came. They didn't identify the vehicle properly. and they did not take authorization. Authorization is calling to confirm, man, there is somebody at the gate. Should I let them in? And even if you've given authority for the person to come in, ensure you look through the window. Who is that person? Are you sure that person does not did not carry out what we call deception? So in the area of home security, you have to be very, very careful. That was how Alfred Juwani paid the supreme price with his life, because one, he didn't listen to the voice of the wife if there was danger. He only heard the wife screaming and he said, honey, who is that? Are you with me? Learn to listen when your wife is communicating. Know the voice of know your wife's voice. How do your wife sound? Was there a problem? So they went in and they assassinated Alfred Juwani. I have just told us what on story number 2. Home security, be very careful about your security. Don't step out anyhow at night. Do not attend to your neighbors by night. Even if your neighbor is shouting, what is the problem? Okay, come and help me, come and help me. Please pick your phone and call the police to come before you open your door. Sometimes it might be criminal elements trying to be deceptive by using your neighbor as a target to get at you. This mostly happens in an estate. So estate security is very important. Make sure you have your estate phone numbers and get information about happenings in your estate security. That brings me to the end of.
No, talking about estates, there's a question on the screen. I said, for those living in an estate, how do you handle a situation? Not even just estate, living anywhere. You have done your own bits. You have taken care of your domestic staff. You have done security check. You have done background check. But what about your neighbor? How do you handle that?
It's a very, very intelligent question. I'm a consultant to security consultant to an estate on the island, and this is what I always tell them. Everybody in an estate must have his identity with the security department. Everyone must, before you can come into an estate, all landlords must produce the identity of their domestic staffs. There's an estate in Ibadan called Aerodrome. I went for a security assessment in the estate, and this issue came on board, and we have to address it. You can't gain access into that estate as a domestic staff without your identity card. And for you to have someone's, not just giving them an identity, before you employ any person, you must have his national identity number, identity card, copies of his international passport or whatever, identity card, government identity card, registered with the landlord of the domestic staff and with the estate of the, and in the estate as well, so that everybody will be well checked in the case of any eventualities. Yes, you have done your best. Then it's a no-no for your domestic staff to bring in visitors. It's a no-no. That is just a no-no. Your domestic staff, your neighbor will come and sit down. No. Stay in your location, and you let your domestic staff stay in your location. If they must meet together, let them go and meet outside the estate or somewhere else. Because sometimes most of these people use it as an opportunity to gather surveillance. And that is why it is not advisable to take Megad, because once you take Megad, they will start selling sugar, pepper, mangi, and all those stuff. They'll have a kiosk. Anytime there's a kiosk in your dormouse or your compound, that means a threat has been established in your compound. People will take that kiosk as an avenue to carry out surveillance against you and your apartment. And even if you are traveling, make sure that you don't publicize your travel on the internet, because each time you tell people on the internet that you are traveling, you are informing the criminal markets about your absence. And whatever the case may be, whenever you are not at home, always leave your light on, because if you put off your lights in your apartment, it is a signal that you're not available. But whenever you put your light on, it's deceptive. That madam, they will see light, all those stuffs, and you can choose when to play your radio and automatically put them on and off. So be very careful about your home security and domestic staffs. It's very, very important.
So there's this question. It says, how do you handle this? You have a business or a trade that you use your home as an office. Now you have an apprentice coming to learn trade from you. How do you do a background check? And because again, it's your office, people coming, business people will want to come and have meetings with you and all of that. How do you handle security when you're doing an home office situation?
For people to get at you, they can't get at you if you are a poor lady or you're a poor man. People don't come to get at nothing. So that starts with personal self-assessment. You need to carry out a self-assessment of yourself. What is the problem? That's why maybe next time, or if I have the time, I will talk about assassination as a topic and kidnapping as a topic.
Wow. Wow. I'm sure he will come back soon. But this has been so enlightening. I'm sure you all will agree with me. It's been so much. I've written and I've taken notes and notes and notes. Yes, thank you, Gilbert. It's a no-no to make friends with other estate security domestic staff. It's so unfortunate that we are now in a time and a season where you cannot just go anywhere and be friends just anyhow again. Before now, everybody is your friend. I grew up having everybody around me. I could visit anybody. But today, it's not like that. So, back to you. I think we're having some challenges. Yes. We're talking about home office. You are answering this question. Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. So that is the area of home security. And the question that lady asked is a very sensitive question. There should be a demarcation between your office and your apartment if you are staying in the same place. I've seen people running their business from home. But in the situation whereby you are running your business from home and people gain a security company that can people to carry out background check on their security guards and also check those who comes in and comes out. And that is where you have the attendant register. Everyone that gain access to your premises must register in that attendant book. And make sure that your jewelries, your gold, your medals, your money, your dollars, your naira are far away from view. Let no one gain access into your apartment. Let it be strictly the area of business.
That's very key. So if you're using your home as an office, you need to be careful. Demarcate a place. Have a designated area exclusive for official use. There is a comment here, and I will take this as the last one. And I think this is right. Can we treat our house self the same with our children? My answer is a yes. Let them be a part of the family. We all know where the lines are, but treat them as well as you treat your children. Now, Dickson, before I let you go, I know time is fast spent. I want to put you on the spot. If you're available next week, Monday, so we can talk about kidnapping and assassination.
Okay, no problem. I'll do that for you. You're my sister.
Thank you very much. So I won't take your last word, yes, because you are coming back next week, Monday, as we talk about assassination and kidnapping. Thank you so much again for your time. I truly appreciate it. I don't take it for granted. God bless you.
Thank you for all you do. Thank you for all you do. I appreciate you as well. You are touching lives and adding value to the society.
Thank you. Thank you, every single person. It's been so enlightening. I've taken notes. So many things we take for granted. Unfortunately, we cannot just be our brother's keeper anymore without being careful. Yes, love your neighbor as yourself, but you have to love yourself first before you can love your neighbor. Don't sacrifice yourself because you want to help somebody else. That's all we can take today. Next week, Monday, we are still going to be on security as we look at kidnapping and assassination that unfortunately has become the story of today. And until I come your way next week, Monday, like I will always say, don't ever forget it. If you can think it, you can be it, you can have it. It's all about your mind. And of course, together we win. It's been a pleasure having you. And for those that will watch after now, thank you so much. God bless you. See you next week, Monday. Bye for now.